Iranian Americans for Liberty has always maintained that human rights organizations have done little but propping up murderous dictators and regimes like the Islamic Republic. Time and again, we have been proven right. The appointment of one of the central figures in suppressing the freedoms of Iranians to the HCHR highlights the systemic problem of the so-called human rights bodies and gives the lie to the fact that Western powers use these organizations to legitimize deeply unpopular regimes such as the mullahs in Tehran, wrote Iranian Americans for Liberty on X. Asghar Sepehri, the brother of patriotic political prisoners Fatemeh and Mohammad Hossein Sepehri, wrote on his X account that Mohammad Hossein Sepehri, who is imprisoned in Vakilabad prison in Mashhad, has had no contact with his family. Mr. Sepehri wrote, "In his last call, he had expressed deep concern about the condition of Fatemeh Sepehri in Ward 5 of the prison. Over the past 2 weeks, the family has gone to the prison for their weekly visits, but they have not been allowed to see him. Prison officials claim that he is refusing phone calls and cabin visits in protest over his sister's situation in Ward 5. He added, "My brother remains in prison nearly 20 months after his latest arrest. He is the father of 2 sons aged 10 and 17. Who have been deprived of their father's presence for about 6 years. He also suffers from high blood pressure, lumbar and cervical arthritis." Asghar Sepehri also explained in his post, "The last time my brother was taken out of prison for a medical examination, a Doppler ultrasound was performed on his carotid arteries. The attached report shows that fatty deposits and narrowing were observed in the internal carotid arteries on both right and left sides. The degree of narrowing was reported to be approximately 52% on the right side, about 30% on the left side, and about 29% in the left common carotid artery." The case of monarchy advocate and political activist Golare Abbasi is now in the appeals stage, following her conviction and a sentence of 51 months in prison. Her appeals court date is expected soon. Ms. Abbasi was arrested and conditionally released. However, she was rearrested by the IRGC's intelligence unit and spent 12 days in solitary confinement at Ward 1A undergoing intense interrogations. She was released after posting a 1 billion toman bail. Branch 23 of the Revolutionary Court sentenced her to 4 years and 3 months in prison on charges including collusion and assembly, contact with opposition groups, transferring security information, and propaganda against the regime. Farzaneh Qare Hasanlu, a political prisoner held in Vakilabad prison in Mashhad, has been denied all contact and visits with her family after sharing an audio message in support of His Majesty Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. Since April 12th, no communication has been allowed between her and her family, raising serious concerns about her well-being and physical condition. The punishment came after she publicly urged the United States to replace any potential talks with the Islamic Republic with direct dialogue with Prince Reza Pahlavi, a statement that reportedly triggered harsh retaliation from prison authorities. Christian convert Laleh Saati was released from Evin prison following the acceptance of her retrial request and the suspension of her sentence. She had previously been sentenced to 2 years in prison and a travel ban by Branch 26 of Tehran's Revolutionary Court. Born in 1978, Laleh was arrested upon returning to Iran and had been held in Evin's women's ward since February 13, 2024. During her detention, she was transferred multiple times to Ward 209, controlled by the Ministry of Intelligence, where she was interrogated repeatedly. Frustrated customers who had purchased vehicles from Fardam Motors staged a protest outside the company's headquarters. Chanting and holding signs, they voiced their anger over months of delays and broken promises. Many said they had paid the full amount long ago, yet were still left empty-handed, with no clear answers or delivery dates in sight. The protesters called for immediate action and warned they would continue to raise their voices until their demands were met. Amid growing frustration with government mismanagement, a group of applicants in the National Housing Movement Project staged a protest in Birjand. They gathered in front of the local MP Hashemi's office, demanding accountability for repeated broken promises and an ongoing neglect of citizens' demands. A group of welfare organization employees in Tabriz staged a protest in front of the local office, voicing deep frustration over poor living conditions and low wages. Many of them spoke of relentless workloads, emotional exhaustion, and salaries that haven't kept up with inflation. They held signs demanding fair compensation and respect, saying they were expected to care for society's most vulnerable while their own basic needs are ignored. One protester said, "We support others every day, but who supports us?" Their plea wasn't just about money, it was about dignity, justice, and the right to live with a shred of stability. Dozens of local workers from the Kahnuj titanium mine in Kerman province staged a protest in response to the mass dismissal of their colleagues. The workers pointed out that over 50 local employees have been laid off in recent months without any clear explanation. Despite repeated promises, the authorities have so far failed to take any action to reinstate the workers or improve the situation. The protesters demanded transparent answers from the management and called for an immediate halt to the layoffs, warning of the consequences if the situation continues. Retirees and pensioners from Social Security, telecommunications, and other pension funds held protests in Tehran, Kermanshah, Kurdistan, and Gilan. They gathered to voice their anger over worsening living conditions and called for a raise in their pensions. Many of them spoke out about years of being ignored by officials, demanding long overdue financial justice and dignity in their retirement. The retirees who have dedicated their careers to serving the country are demanding better treatment, improved pensions, and an end to the neglect of their rights. Their message was clear: after a lifetime of work, they're done being ignored.
مجلس